My services have been requested. Now, I am no magician. I am just a mere entity in this community that we call the YouTube wrestling community. And on Monday night, I'm usually doing what I do best, and that is complain. I'm complaining about Monday Night Raw. I'm complaining about how this sucks and that sucks and why they're doing this wrong and why they're doing that wrong. And everybody's just very unhappy about the entirety of WWE. So I get a text on Monday night. It's usually when my phone is most busy. I get a text on Monday night, and it's from my buddy Brian Ghoulish. He texts me and says, I'm going to run something by you on social media. Let me know what you think about it. So I go over to social media. I got my phone next to me, my iPad in front of me. I'm refreshing. And then I see a tweet come in by Brian Ghoulish. And he simply questions, we all know WWE ratings are down, merchandise is down, everything is down, live attendance is down, our fucking attitudes are down, everything is down. Except Vince McMahon's fucking pockets. They're not down. Vince McMahon's bankroll is up. Everybody around him is up. What would I do to fix the WWE? What would I do to fix Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live on a Monday and Tuesday night and make it better? So this is what we're going to do today to open this weekend's Off the Script. We are going to pitch plans and ideas. I don't know if anyone in WWE bothers to listen to the bullshit that I spew every single week, but I have ways to make the show better. I have points that I've been making for years that go unheard. And I want to know why. The simple question of why, which WWE doesn't do well at all on a week-to-week basis. Why is NXT so much different? And I'm not talking about the in-ring product, because we all know the in-ring product on NXT blows away WWE. Why is everything surrounding the product on how to do things so much different than how they operate on the main roster? And it's the same fucking company. This is what I've wondered for years. What is it really? What is it really? Is it a case of Vince McMahon not wanting to do what NXT does because he knows that in the end he'll look like a fucking failure? Or is it the simple case of Triple H creating NXT because they want to surround the entire marketplace with WWE? You want your indies? We'll give you your fucking indies, but with a taste of WWE. I don't know what it is, but all I know is that whatever NXT is doing, they're doing it correctly. I don't give a fuck if it's taking from the indies and making it your own so that you don't go back and watch the indies. That doesn't work. That mentality is non-existent. There's a reason why NXT is doing things right and WWE is fucking up every single week. To me, there's no reason why one can't borrow from the other. Doesn't make any sense. So like I said, I've been called upon by my good buddy Brian Ghoulish to come up with several ways to fix the current dilemma that is in WWE, and that is Raw and SmackDown Live. I feel there is no better time than now, after the news broke this week that Raw suffered the lowest rating in the history of the show for a non-holiday episode, and SmackDown Live cannot be easily forgiven either. They set a new record low since the 2016 brand split. Not hard to see why. The shows are fucking insufferable. If you're an avid viewer like I am every single week, it is easy to figure out what is going wrong. After being subjected to it for so long, it makes me wonder how we, the fans, see it and see everything that they're doing wrong, and the company does not see it. What I find even more hilarious is how we, the fans, know what the problems are, and when we voice our opinion, the WWE takes every chance they have to mock us. They mock its fan base on a weekly basis. I have been subjected to this product for over 30 years. I actually take great pride in being what you guys call me, the voice of the voiceless. A lot of you guys utter the same sentiments that I do, but you don't have the platform to do it. So in turn, you look to me to get the point across so that hopefully somebody sees it and hears it. I take great pride in that position that you guys have unofficially given me. And I love doing what I do every single week. I just wish that whatever I was talking about on a week-to-week basis was actually incorporated and heard of and actually touched upon. It was a situation that I felt like I needed to do back when I first started this channel, and I never looked in any other direction. I love this product so much that I have all these concerns, and I have to voice it in the way that I do, because if nobody's doing it, I feel like I have the voice to do so and make a difference. Now, over 30 years of watching this product, I've obviously taken my love for pro wrestling and I've made it into a profession. This is my job. I sit here week to week, every single day, and I turn my love of professional wrestling into a job. I turned it into a profession. This may come as a surprise to you, the fucking cretins out there that are living in your caves on social media. You know, what I do is very much a job. I'm sorry you don't have something that you are passionate about in your lives to fill your miserable existence. But this is a job, and what I do takes time out of my day to give you free content. And what I do actually takes a lot of preparation, just like you would do if you go to a 9-to-5 job and you're fucking counting the fries that gotta go into a small Happy Meal. You fucking cretin. Anyway, how do we fix Monday Night Raw? I'm not here to talk about fucking Happy Meals or these pimply-faced virgins that are fucking dwelling on social media. How do we fix Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live on Monday and Tuesday night? It's not all about entertainment anymore. My good buddy, Mr. LeBar, Justin LeBar, every time I had the pleasure of sitting down with him to talk wrestling with him, and he knows me very well. He knows how boisterous and opinionated I can be. He knows how I view the product. I've always stated that WWE needs to incorporate a real sports feel into their product. Now. Oh, but JD! Yes, I was one of the people who are very intrigued by Mr. Bray Wyatt and his take on an evil Pee Wee Herman, Mr. Rogers, with his fucking cardigans. I was one who was very intrigued by Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse. Now, this is the complete opposite from a real sports-like feel, but it also addresses another issue that WWE needs to really make a priority. It's the simple fact that they don't have characters like the one that is budding in Bray Wyatt. They don't have characters on their TV that could suspend your belief in pro wrestling. And they don't have characters on TV where you could just kind of watch and just kind of drift into a different world. They don't have characters on TV where you can invest your time in and just not give a shit. You know, I love the Johnny Garganos and Tommaso Ciampas and the Ricochets and the Aleister Blacks of the fucking WWE. But I know that it can't all rest on in-ring work. I know that. To me, in-ring work is very important. To me, in-ring work, when you look at those guys' work, there's no way a human being with functioning eyeballs can say, oh, they suck. They're not a professional wrestler. Give me a break. Give me a break. But on the other side of the coin, where I want a real sports-like feel, I also do believe that WWE needs gimmicks and characters that we could see on television that have that supernatural, you know, I don't believe this is happening, this is only a pro wrestling gimmick type feel. We do need that, and I feel like WWE's been lacking in that for quite some time. What is important to you during a sports game and how WWE should present their product? What is important to you during a sports game? Obviously, when you watch football or baseball, you get that real sense of competition. When I watch a sports game, is how I want WWE to present their product. NXT is the perfect model of how things need to be. I've been saying this for years. It is not fucking rocket science. NXT is the perfect model about how things should be. Never mind the fact that it's a 1-hour program. Never mind that fact. That is something that we have to deal with. NXT's 1 hour, Raw is 3 hours. Simple. But the difference is, where we want Monday Night Raw to be cut down to 2 hours, I would not mind seeing an extra 45 minutes of NXT because the quality of the content is there. That 1 hour of programming has set the precedent for how things need to operate. Very rarely do you see a wrestler, take wrestler A for example, appear on one show and then again he appears on the next week's show. Very rarely do you see wrestler A versus wrestler B have matches week 1, week 2, week 3 in a row, out of thin air with literally no reason for them to be in the ring in the first place. Talent is never overexposed. You are always excited to see that talent, never feeling worn out or tired of their presence on TV, and takeovers are so important to Triple H that they all feel like WrestleMania, with the most important talent always shining through, never oversaturated with matches for the sake of making it the longest pay-per-view in the history of pro wrestling. It's a show that happens 5 to 6 times a year with a model of if you work your ass off, you could be one of the 5 matches on NXT TakeOver. We don't need to have this overbearing 7-hour fucking pay-per-view with 16 matches. There's no reason for a Royal Rumble pay-per-view to be 7 hours. There's no reason. What is the reason? What is the logical reason for that to be a 7-hour pay-per-view? Oh, well, it gets the audience retention. The most minutes watched of all time happened in April with WrestleMania being 8 hours on the WWE Network. Yeah, no shit. No shit. That's what's important to you? What is important to you? Audience retention on the fucking network for an 8-hour pay-per-view or your fans' sanity? Do you want people to fucking watch your product? Or do you want people to fucking go away to come back at the time of their choosing and watch when they want in half-an-hour intervals? You want to keep people's interest for 3 or 4 hours over the night, not 8 hours and they're falling asleep by hour 3. You don't want them to walk away during the fucking show to come back when they want, to watch it when they want, over a span of 2 weeks. It's fucking ridiculous. 5 matches. 2.5 hours of TakeOver. How many of you watching me would want WWE to add another match or 2, to add another hour to TakeOver? Everybody. That's a good thing. The reason Triple H does it this way, it's because he doesn't want to burn you out. He doesn't want to give you quantity over quality, and he wants you coming back for more. You whet their appetite just a little bit, and they're going to come back for a second dish. It's not that difficult to figure out. I met with House of Glory officials not too long ago. They wanted my opinion on what could we do to better the overall product when we have our monthly shows. Look at the TakeOver model. There's no reason to have 8 or 9 matches on the show for the sake of getting everybody on the fucking show. Some of these people don't even belong on the show. Some of these matches don't even need to be on the show at all. You're putting people on the show just because you feel bad and you want to get everybody on the show. You don't want to leave anybody off for the sake of hurting someone's feelings. No. No, you take what is important, you put it on the show in a 5 or 6 match format, you give me 2.5 hours of great quality content, you leave the fans wanting more so that they come back for the next show. You want that crowd, you got to gauge everything off the crowd. You want that crowd to be on an upward swing. You don't want the crowd to be here and then here and then here. They're never going to achieve that height. You got to keep them always ascending. You don't want the crowd to be dead during one portion of the show and then alive and then dead again and then alive again. That's tiresome. That's tiresome. You work your ass off, you get on the shows. TakeOver and NXT is the perfect model. Why has Johnny Gargano been on every TakeOver? Not including the fact that he's the NXT champion. Why has he been on every single TakeOver? Very easy to figure out. Because nobody has been better than Johnny Gargano. He's the best wrestler employed by WWE right now. And I mean that wholeheartedly. He's the best wrestler employed by WWE. Just this past January, NXT TakeOver Phoenix had a show right before the Royal Rumble. You do realize that Adam Cole was not featured on that show. Adam fucking Cole was not featured on that show. How on earth is that even allowed in a normal circumstance? It's one of the best guys that they got in the entire fucking company. And he wasn't on TakeOver Phoenix? It's because NXT has built up everyone to a point where everything that they do and everything that they did on that show meant something. Adam Cole could have wrestled anyone that night, but Triple H opted to leave him off the show because why use him in a nothing situation when you could save the appeal of Adam Cole for something that actually matters? Quality over quantity. I could end this fucking open right there. Monday Night Raw is 3 hours. We know that isn't going away because of WWE's greediness. The blind follow the blind in WWE. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Meanwhile, WWE could make its money if they actually put on better programming, because with better programming, more fans will watch, more fans will come, more fans will subscribe, more fans will be opted to buy a fucking t-shirt. You know, they don't think. Instead, they want to shit on their fans and make people tired of watching the fucking shows weekly because they're too long and there's no effort that goes into these shows and people are not going to watch. There's no reason for us to watch. I have to watch because I have to sit here and talk to you. MLB, Major League Baseball, has been looking for a way to speed up the game for years because sitting around for 3 hours doing something is too long. No matter what it is, we don't do anything for 3 hours straight except sleep without getting tired of it. You're sitting at your desk right now. You may be at home, in your office. You may be at the kitchen table having a fucking cup of coffee, reading the newspaper with me yelling in the background. You could be at work, in the office, doing some paperwork, pushing some fucking pencils or pens or whatever the fuck you guys do. You'd be looking at the fucking, the hot blonde sitting across from you in her fucking cubicle, bending over. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. All I know is, during the day, you're not going to be sitting straight for 3 hours. You're going to get up. You're going to get up. Whether it's your home, you're going to get up to walk around, make breakfast, I can't even fucking speak. Make breakfast, make a cup of coffee, make the bed, get up, take a shit, take a smoke break, or if you're at work, take lunch. It's human nature to want to get up and move. Nobody wants to be confined for that long, especially when it's 3 hours of something that ultimately mocks you and provides zero effort like Monday Night Raw. I could sit here all day talking about how Raw needs to be shortened to 2 hours, but it's not realistic because WWE's greed to them is more important. There are rumors of SmackDown Live moving to 3 hours in the fall. If WWE wants to kill their weekly programming for good, by all means do that. SmackDown is suffering now, and if they go to 3 hours, it will never recover. More content is not the answer. WWE is so obsessed with giving more, leaving the fans tired and feeling of, oh, I'll get back to it when I can. I got it on DVR, or I'll just ask a friend, or I'll just go to YouTube and catch up on the clips on the channel. You don't want that. You want people engaged in the fucking weekly television shows. You don't want them to seek the show by other means. Give me a break. And another reason why these shows are fucking miserable and insufferable every fucking week. How many goddamn fucking commercials are there during a 3-hour Monday Night Raw? Not even that. In the major match that you're promoting on the show, you could have a main event match and there's 4 fucking commercials in a 20-minute match. Why? You can't spread your fucking commercials out throughout the 3-hour show? You gotta put them all in the one match that you're advertising all fucking night? I don't know what the fuck these people are watching, but I know when I'm watching a baseball playoff or a baseball game and it's a tight game, for example, 2-1. Braves could be playing the fucking Mets. It's 2-1. They bring in a relief pitcher. It's the bottom of the 9th inning, right? How would you like if the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes and there's 2 out? The Mets got guys on second and third base. They got their biggest hitter up in the fucking box. Oh, don't worry. We'll get right to this pitch after the commercial break. Are you fucking kidding me? On no fucking sport are you going to see a commercial break in the middle 4 fucking times in the middle of the action? Do you know what that does to people who are watching your show? Where's the fucking remote, bitch? Where's the remote? Put on Food Network. I'd rather watch Guy Fieri. Fuck these guys. That's how I feel. I reach for the fucking remote control. When WWE has commercials, I go to watch something else. Family Guy's on for a 4-hour block on TBS. I'll put that on. Big Bang Theory's on. I'll watch that. Fuck WWE. I don't want to be interrupted by watching a main event match with fucking 4 fucking commercials. Yes, I know, cigarettes are bad for you. Fucking idiots. Every fucking week, it's the same shit. Even the commercial in the commercial on SmackDown doesn't help. Or the in-commercial programming that they got. They show you a little box of what's going on, and then 75% of the screen is all commercial. That doesn't help. I want to physically hear the commentators tell me the story of what's going on in the ring. You don't know what that does to lose people's interest in the overall match that you're trying to tell. Or the story you're trying to tell in the match. Enough! Enough! Tom Brady, Hail Mary pass, we'll go to a commercial break and see if the receiver catches the ball. Unreal. The commentary on these shows is fucking insufferable. From the silly nicknames Michael Cole and Corey Graves give the performers, to the overall just tedious fucking cocksucking of their favorites, it's nauseating. It is absolutely nauseating. The constant bickering of Renee Young. Oh my God! How is this going to get me interested in the story that's being told in the ring? Oh! Jesus fucking Christ, is she home with Dean Ambrose in bed, or is she fucking calling a wrestling match? She's terrible. Absolutely no intelligent reply to what is going on in the ring, to the instances in which the commentary team buries said performer. It could be anybody. It could be Zack Ryder, it could be Kurt Hawkins, it could be Sasha Banks, who hasn't been on fucking TV for a month now. No matter what the reason, whether it be rumors floating around on the internet or something that is publicly known, no one on commentary should be out there burying the talent. Do you hear baseball commentary bury the closer who's blown 4 straight saves in his last 4 opportunities? They're going to do something to offer constructive criticism to the management. Well, maybe you should try this guy out. Maybe you should rest the closer. Maybe he's got something wrong with his fucking windup. Maybe he needs to go back and work with the pitching coach. No, just bury him. Bury him. Now, we got to get rid of him. We got to release him and find somebody else to do the job better than him. Are you fucking out of your mind? Publicly shaming someone because you are in the position to do so with a microphone in front of you every single week is shameful, especially for a company that promotes an anti-bullying campaign. You know, Anthony Gangone, our House of Glory world champion. You know, he is a very talented individual. And he tells me that our commentary team for House of Glory, with me and Matthew Ryan Shapiro and Ben Venuto, we are one of the best on the indies, because he mentioned something that really stuck out to me. He's like, you guys call the action and tell a great story in the ring. And on top of that, you don't bury any of the talent that's in the ring. Never. There's, you know, playful bickering back and forth between the heel commentator in Shapiro and the babyface commentator in me. Yes, I know, me a babyface, I know. If you watch me here and then you heard me on House of Glory commentary, completely different individual. You'd think I was Michael Cole. Anyway, but better. But he says you guys don't bury people on commentary. And I love that aspect. It's a rarity to see nowadays. And I love that. Why do you have these guys, especially Corey Graves, when he wants to be all fucking emo, burying Sasha Banks on commentary? Yeah, Sasha Banks fumbled the ball and went home, or whatever the fuck he said a couple of weeks ago. Hey, asshole, mind your fucking business. It doesn't concern you. Leave Sasha to tend to her own personal issues. Or better yet, Vince McMahon's a fucking asshole, and he probably fed that line to Corey Graves. But, you know, nobody's gonna rip on Vince McMahon. How many people know Vince McMahon's in Corey Graves' headset feeding him that line? So Corey Graves is the line, or saying the line, and he's in the line of fire to take the fucking brunt of the social media backlash when they hear that type of shit. There's no reason to get excited about the shows at the start. Remember Raw? When Raw was war? Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Psycho Sid, all in a warehouse fighting with flaming barrels in the fucking night sky. Didn't you get excited when you watched that? I know I did. I mean, how the fuck can't you not get excited with all of those guys flaming barrels in a fucking warehouse, and they got Anthrax playing the fucking theme music to Monday Night Raw? How about the pyro that went off during the shows to welcome you to the program? What was that replaced with? Welcome to Monday Night Raw, and here comes the big dog. Where's the remote, honey? Hey, honey, get the fucking remote. What's on HGTV? I want to see what house they're flipping. You fucking kidding me? Yeah, make me not want to watch the fucking show. It's 8 o'clock, or it's 8:01. Or it's 8 o'clock in 30 seconds. You make me want to fucking change the channel already. You fucking goon. The more you insult your fans, how many of them do you expect to stand there taking direct insults that you throw at them? Sami Zayn has done it for 3 weeks now, with this past week being the most obvious of what Vince McMahon thinks of all of us. Sami Zayn might as well have worn a $5,000 suit and strut out doing Vince McMahon's walk to the sound of No Chance on the PA system. Charlotte Flair coming out saying she's owed title matches simply because she's Charlotte Flair. In what instance is that right? Now, if you're a fucking plebeian on social media who are, you don't have a fucking brain, logically to think for yourself, you might think that's right. But for us normal fucking people who actually think and could walk and talk at the same time, that doesn't make it right. It's not an instance in which it is right. You're telling your audience that you don't give a shit about effort, and we are giving you Charlotte in yet another title match because of who she is, not because of how hard she worked or because she beat wrestler A or she beat this wrestler to get a title shot. She's just handed title shots. Handed fucking title shots. She came out of WrestleMania, fought Bayley once, and gets a title shot at the pay-per-view. What has Bayley done to even be put in that position to get a title match? How did Charlotte just materialize this into a title match? Lacey Evans, she beat Natty. Who did she beat before Natty? Why was Natty even the number one contender or in a number one contender match for Lacey Evans to go over to get a title match? I'm losing my fucking mind just even thinking about it. It's every single week. It's not sometimes, it's every single week. Becky Lynch coming out on Twitter in promos saying Lacey Evans curries favors backstage to get what she wants. What are you implying there? You're indirectly using Becky Lynch to tell us what is really going on, thinking the fans are too stupid to figure out, in turn telling them that they are fucking oblivious idiots. Most importantly, why are the women like Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair getting title matches? People aren't watching or caring because it doesn't make any fucking sense why they are there in the first place. And it goes back to what I've been saying. They are there because they are blonde. They are looked at as fucking eye candy, big tits, big ass. Obviously not in the case of Charlotte. Long legs. They are there because of what they look like. Point blank, period. You don't agree with that? I don't give a shit. I really don't. If it doesn't get me invited down to fucking Orlando to do WWE 2K20, I don't give a shit. It's the fucking truth. I can't help that you're a fucking oblivious clown. Open your eyes. It's right in front of you. Enough of this walking the fucking tight line. Oh, I can't say that. Fuck you. I just broke down the wall and have been doing so for the last 5 years. Moving on. Sticking with the women. Merge the fucking divisions. Enough of this split roster bullshit for these weak divisions. Raw has a god-awful women's division, most of which is carried by Becky Lynch and nobody else. One of the reasons why these shows are suffering is because you have the same people on every single week with a lack of focus on others. Not only will I don't believe I'm explaining this again for the fucking idiots out there that, you shouldn't merge the divisions. Why not? Not only will this benefit WWE in the end when they move to Fox, where it could be a shared roster that features everyone on Friday night, which is a smart move in the sense of business anyway, but it also gives TV time to others where you don't need to rely on a Becky Lynch or a Ronda Rousey or a Charlotte Flair every single week. With a more hands on deck, all hands on deck mentality. Not only will it open up that creativity, it will offer fresh matchups, a competitive nature, a revolving door of talent that has not been given the opportunity yet, and it will keep your major players off TV, which in turn will save them for big moments when they're actually needed, which in turn will make people tune in to see them on TV and see them in those big moments. Or subscribe to the network to see Becky Lynch wrestle when she hasn't wrestled or been on TV in 3 weeks while WWE was busy building up her opponent. Simple. What am I saying that is so outlandish? Nothing. So, we got Becky as your champion. She doesn't need to be on TV every single week. Charlotte's a major player. She doesn't need to be on TV every single week. It's WWE's job to build the next Charlotte and the next Becky with an Ember Moon, a Ruby Riott, an Asuka, a Bayley, a Kairi Sane, a Sasha Banks. Why are we stuck on using the same talent to a point where we don't care to see them anymore? The more you showcase, the appeal of said superstar goes out the window. Very simple mentality. Same thing with the tag team division. I'm not talking about the women's tag team division. That's dead. That would come in time with merging the divisions. Tag team division I'm talking about is the men. Everything I said with the women's division, apply it here, and it's the same thing. You got 5 hours of TV to fill between Monday and Tuesday night, soon to be Friday. Why are the War Raiders used every single week in a complete throwaway segment with a group of guys that means nothing to anybody? Why are the Usos and the Revival feuding in an embarrassing way with backstage segments with the Revival shaving each other's back when they are two of the best teams in the world and should be wrestling over the fact that they are two teams at the top of their division in the fucking world? Why are the Revival and your tag team champions getting 3 minutes on Raw and then come Tuesday night, no one from your tag team division is featured? You have a damn good tag team division that honestly should be headlining shows. And the only reason why you'll start to see tag team matches and tag team championship matches headline shows is because some t-shirt company, says the Goon, down in Jacksonville, Florida, is going to be showcasing tag team wrestling in the main event. It's already happening across the globe. WWE is just, of course, late to the fucking party. No one from their tag team division on SmackDown Live is getting featured. You have a damn good tag team division that should be headlining shows if the proper care for it was there. Tag team matches should be between legit tag teams. Legit tag teams. I'm not talking about Rusev and Nakamura. I'm not talking about Andrade and Randy Orton because they're fucking heels. WWE relies too much on random tag team matches, taking the focus away from the singles aspect of many of these guys just to simply fill TV time and give the show that big match feel with an empty feeling, and it's more damaging to the overall quality of the show and the roster. Simple. It's not that difficult to grasp. Championships, they mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. Brock Lesnar was the Universal Champion for how long in the last 2 years? How many times did we see the Intercontinental Championship in the main event on Raw, when it was on Raw, positioned as the title on Monday night while Brock Lesnar was gallivanting around with the Universal Championship? Zero times. Seth Rollins is now your full-time champion on Raw. Again, he doesn't need to be there every single week. Your tag team titles need to be positioned in a way in which makes them big enough to headline shows on Monday night, instead of giving us main events featuring fucking Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. Every single week. He doesn't need to be there. I don't understand why it's so difficult to figure this shit out. Your tag team titles and US title and Intercontinental title should be titles that are built up where you could put them in the most important part of the show, where your third hour is fucking bleeding out. You need to make it important. They're titles and superstars big enough to headline. Why not use that aspect? Your US title needs to be positioned in a way where on a random week, it closes the show and right on down the line. Becky Lynch has 2 belts. Seth Rollins has the Universal title. There is nothing stopping WWE to feature the mid-card titles in a way where they seem important. It's a simple fact of them not wanting to do it. Meanwhile, in NXT, the North American and tag team titles have main evented regular weekly TV a few times this year alone. Why did this concept go out the window? Why did NXT last summer promote a title match between Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black 3 weeks in advance? It's because they wanted to get you excited for something and have you look forward to what they were giving you. Why can't WWE do that with their world titles on Raw? Why is there no excitement for a Universal title match on Raw. Give us 2 to 3 weeks notice of Rollins defending the Universal title on Monday Night Raw in the main event. Is it that difficult? Instead, we get Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, rinse and repeat in the main event, and there's a ratings drop that ends up being the lowest in the history of the show. The tag team titles and the U.S. title should be regularly featured on both shows, with Becky and Rollins being a rarity, but when it does happen, make it a big deal and promote the show accordingly in advance to gauge people's interest. Champions do not need to wrestle every week. This is why you have divisions. You build talent up, find the next contender through a variety of means. When champions are on WWE TV, WWE books them to lose, in turn making the champion and championship look terrible. Turn on ESPN or any channel that features weekly UFC TV. Do you see Daniel Cormier and Conor McGregor fighting on weekly TV every single fucking week, losing in a non-title match? No. You pay big money to see them fight on pay-per-view. Do you see Brock Lesnar wrestle every single week on TV for WWE? No, they use him in a pay-per-view setting because he is a big deal. Why is this mentality applied to some, and to everyone else, it's an afterthought? Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch don't need to be showcased every week. Kofi Kingston doesn't need to be showcased every single week. Kofi Kingston versus Buddy Murphy, WWE title match, main event SmackDown, build it up over 2-3 weeks. They fuck shit up in the main event. They give you a 4-star classic, and then Kofi gets attacked by his next pay-per-view opponent. Not that big of a deal. Yet we don't get any of that, and it's just random tag team matches and fucking KO shows and Miz TVs. There's no creativity in any of this. Cancel 205 Live. It's a complete waste of a show. With all that talent now moving on to the main shows anyway via the shakeup, there really is no need for it. Nobody is seeing that talent anyway, so you might as well use them on Monday and Tuesday night to set the table for the rest of the program, get new eyes on them, have people get excited about what these guys are offering, and most importantly, it gives you that new feeling, it gives you that fresh matchup feeling that we certainly are not getting right now with Raw and SmackDown. 205 Live would not be brand specific, and it would travel across both Raw and SmackDown. The only thing that would be brand specific is the Universal title, WWE title, main event, and the US title, Intercontinental title, mid-card. Everything else would be floating across both shows. 205 Live Cruiserweights, you got the women's tag team and the women's division, and the men's tag team division. That is it. That is it. More time to fill with the rest of the roster. You don't have to overexpose all these people the same every single week. And it gives the audience a new take on new talent and different matchups. More people get the opportunity to be featured. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that serious. I don't understand why people are making this out to be so much more than it really is. Finally, in closing. Finally. Everyone on the roster is in a specific feud with one person. Everybody. That conflict is ongoing, and there isn't any conflict between anyone else. They are finished with said conflict, move on to someone else, and it's something new to basically get WWE through the next month, with rarely a mention or a visit to what they did previously the last month with their previous opponent. Why can't said performer have multiple conflicts? Why can't Samoa Joe feud with Rey Mysterio while at the same time feuding with Braun Strowman? Why can't Finn Balor feud with Andrade Cien Almas and at the same time feud with Buddy Murphy? Why can't Randy Orton feud with Kofi Kingston over the WWE title, who has Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan to look out for in his rearview mirror, but at the same time still be embroiled in a feud with Mustafa Ali? That would make wins and losses matter without actually putting a precedent on wins and losses. Knowing I am watching a Finn Balor match with Andrade over the Intercontinental title with the thought of Buddy Murphy possibly coming out and messing all of that up is a great, unpredictable feeling. It's the money in the bank mentality every time we have a title match with a world title on the line. Knowing the briefcase is still floating around and it could happen at any time keeps the viewer guessing, ultimately keeping them coming back to see if it happens next week. What did I say here that was completely out of the realm of possibility? Nothing. WWE is overexposing talent. WWE is wearing out their audience with too much content without an effort on fucking quality. WWE has put themselves in a position that is going to be absolutely miserable for them to get out of. They got to appease the stockholders. They got to appease Wall Street. They got to appease the WWE Network subscribers. When all we want is basically everything that I just outlined here. We want quality fucking television. We don't want our intelligence insulted. If there's anybody that knows the fucking product, it's us. Yet WWE insults our intelligence and tells us how stupid we are and that we should just enjoy the show for what it is. I'm not going to enjoy a show that is giving me zero effort and zero quality just for the sake of saying, well, this was a good show. No, I don't do that. I'm going to point out your illogical fucking theories. I'm going to point out why this doesn't make sense and why that doesn't make sense. I'm going to point out why something happened 2 weeks ago and it wasn't never brought up again moving forward. I'm going to point out why the same people, men and women, get pushed to the top of the fucking food chain every single week with talents like Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, Ember Moon, so on and so forth. Buddy fucking Murphy has been announced for the shakeup on SmackDown and we haven't seen him in 3 fucking weeks. Why? Why? I don't understand it. This is so simple to fix and WWE refuses to fix it. Now, I know what I'm saying is going to go unheard. It's going to fall on deaf ears, but this is what WWE needs to do. Whatever is going on right now, I hope it continues to happen because that's the only way WWE is going to learn their lesson. From the 1.8 I seen on SmackDown Live, I hope it goes down to a 1.5. For the 1.9 in the third hour that we seen on Monday Night Raw this week, I hope it goes down even lower than that. Because they will not learn. If no one could get through to them, the sinking ratings at the end of the day with this big billion-dollar deal coming with Fox in October, that's the only thing that's going to wake them up. They better get their fucking act together because taking a 1.8 or 1.9 into Fox isn't going to do you any favors. Which at that point, I hope Fox fucking lays the hammer down and starts ordering shit to get better. Or if they have people come on in to fucking make the show better forcefully, I'd like to see that too. Fucking blind leading the blind. These stockholders and shareholders, they don't know what the fuck is going on. Why are WWE losing all this types of money? Look at the weekly television show. It's not that difficult to figure out. Yet you're standing there and sitting there with Vince McMahon in your ear. Oh, it's talent absences. I can't even remember who the fuck was out when he said that. What, John Cena, who's barely been there all year, not there? Brock Lesnar, who is not the biggest draw in the company anymore like you think. Roman Reigns? Ratings were down when he was there. Ratings were down when he was out. Ratings are even worse now that he's back. It's not any of the talent's fault. It's the way you are booking the shows. It's the way you are featuring the talent. It's the way you show us that there's no effort when it comes to talent, championships, logic. Every single aspect of the show does not make sense, and it's just hours of television to fill a fucking block of TV. Fix the fucking shows. How many times do I gotta fucking tell you? You watch Monday Night Raw for 3 hours, and you sit there and wonder, can it be this difficult to make sense of a 3-hour show with the talent that they have? You either want to, or you don't. That is it. In this case, WWE doesn't give a shit. This is Off the Script, episode 272. We got a lot more to go over. News on Goldberg, Dean Ambrose, and I got much more to come right here on part 1 for Off the Script. Don't go anywhere. We'll hit the intro, and I'll be right back.
Delete! This is mine.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast. It is Friday, May 3rd, 2019. This is Off the Script, episode 272, part number 1. Right before we hit the intro, we talked about Bill Goldberg, the real reasons why Bill Goldberg is back with the WWE, the real reasons why Bill Goldberg will be competing in Saudi Arabia. Why is that, you ask? AEW is the reason. You want to know why? We'll go over why. Hopefully Jon Moxley ends up over there too. But apparently, as you guys have already seen, I'm sure, unless you're living in a fucking cave, Jon Moxley, reborn. Dean Ambrose, dead. Jon Moxley could be in a ring as soon as June. I got news on that as well. Daniel Bryan. Everybody was wondering what was going on with Daniel Bryan. Well, he is coming back. He is cleared. And the real reason why he received time off from WWE today, right here on Off the Script. WWE meant to humiliate the Revival. That's exactly what they did. Why? Because they rejected 5-year contract offers from the company. So WWE will be on a mission to humiliate the Revival. Also, why, and I don't know why, WWE canceled, I know why, but I just don't know why you wouldn't do it, why WWE canceled a feud between Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman for the United States Championship. We're going to go over that as well right here on the podcast, man. So thank you guys so very much for joining me. If you enjoyed that open, I assume you hit the thumbs up already. And if you didn't hit the thumbs up, what the fuck are you waiting for? I mean, 45 minutes of sheer brilliance deserves a thumbs up, don't it? This motherfucker better be at 2,000 thumbs up by the end of the day. Thank you. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Follow me on social media, man. Best way to reach out to me and follow me and what's happening on the channel at JD from NY206. That's on both the Twitter and the Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. If you're new here, I don't know what you're waiting for, man. I'm still waiting on the thumbs up. You're going to hit the subscribe button? Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, please. And thank you. Subscribe. Turn on that bell if it wants to work. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it does. Hit that bell. Turn it on. Make sure you guys are notified. If you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Completely optional. And if you guys want to get exclusive content that's not available on YouTube, you guys can go over there as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harry's. Gotta talk about Harry's, man, because they're paying the bills. Harrys.com/scripts. Free trial, $13 trial set can be yours today if you guys use our unique link, harrys.com/script. Why Harry's? I'll tell you why right now, man. Harry's founders were tired of paying for razors that were overpriced, overdesigned. They knew a great shave didn't come from gimmicks like vibrating heads and flex balls or handles that look like spaceships. These tactics have been used in the market for these products for decades. Now, Harry's fixed all that. Just like I wish Monday Night Raw and Vince McMahon would fix their problems, Harry's fixed this problem by combining a simple, clean design with quality, durable blades at a fair price. Harry's also bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 95 years. And they received over 20,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google alone. Harry's replacement cartridges are just $2. That's half the price of a Gillette Fusion Pro Shield. And all Harry's blades come with a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they will give you a full refund. Join the 10 million plus that have used Harry's and claim your offer today by using harrys.com/script. You're going to get a weighted handle, a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel, and a travel blade cover if you're a man on the go, if you're a man for business that needs to travel, or if you're a simple guy like me that likes it to look pretty on your bathroom sink, it looks great in the travel blade cover as well. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set at harrys.com/script. Make sure you go to harrys.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know that JD and Off the Script sent you to help support the show. One final thing before we get into the news today, guys. I want to thank everybody that's bought and purchased the new epic track from my brother Frank and his band Legionary, 11 minutes of epicness he just released, and I want to thank all you guys for actually supporting him. If you guys want to support, if you're a fan of heavy metal, I know it's not everybody's cup of coffee, but the amount of work and preparation that he put into this entire process, never mind writing the song. The song was pieced together over months of ideas and then finally getting into the studio and banging this motherfucker out, man. He did it. He did it with Tony. He had his engineer in New Jersey. They did a great job. If you guys want to go and support him, I would really, really appreciate it. I'll leave you guys a link down in the comments below. If you support me and everything that I do, if you're good enough to buy a t-shirt from me, I want you guys to go and support my brother in this venture, man. Great stuff. You're not going to regret it. 11 minutes. You're going to get a slew of music. You're going to get so much music you don't know what to do with, man. 11 minutes from Legionary. It is called Spiritual Warfare. Link is down below to purchase this epic track from my brother, man. Thank you guys so very much for supporting him. Speaking of epic, or not so epic, Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is back with the company. He is going to be in Saudi Arabia for this unknown event, or unnamed event, I should say. We are in the know about it. It's June 7th in Jeddah. Same shit, different year. This past week, WWE very quietly revealed that they would be returning to Saudi Arabia for another big show after the huge financially beneficial shows of the Greatest Royal Rumble and Crown Fool last year. On top of this, they also announced The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, and perhaps, out of left field, most shockingly, Bill Goldberg would be appearing at the show this June. Very interesting for a guy who claimed that he was retired and only wanted to come back for one more run so that his son could see him wrestle. I guess now that sweet Saudi money was too good to turn down, Mr. Bill Goldberg. I guess working on fucking hot rods and cars isn't paying the bills at home. Considering Goldberg had retired from in-ring competition and was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, you wouldn't be crazy for thinking he actually wouldn't wrestle again. But it seems like retirements nowadays are just said and never really acted upon. And the former Universal Champion is set to return at the Saudi show. Now, I want to squash a rumor right here. I heard something or I read something on Facebook. I don't know if this was a troll account. If you guys see, and I don't believe this is actually, I wouldn't even be surprised if WWE did this. I really would not. If you see something floating around on the internet that states that Bill Goldberg is coming to SmackDown Live and he's going to win the WWE Championship for a rematch against Brock Lesnar on the debut episode of Fox at Fox's request, I want you guys to immediately block that account and never look at anything that those people ever do or report on ever again. I don't know where I seen it, but apparently it was from Slice Entertainment. Please. Those people, I swear to God, man, I guarantee you they're a bunch of fucking 12-year-old children somewhere in some fucking muddied pool in India who are big Roman Reigns supporters trying to get their names out there as far as wrestling journalism or content on the internet. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Again, I have to utter. I don't even know why I gave them a shout out on this channel. You guys know that they're bullshit. Anyway, if you guys watch their Twitter account, which I'm blocked from, by the way, every first letter of every word in their tweets is capitalized. So if you type like that, you have something wrong up here. Moving on from that. I just wanted to throw that out there. If you see that type of information floating out there on social media, please disregard it as bullshit. The announcement certainly raised eyebrows, and now the reason for this sudden return has been revealed. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported in the latest edition that it was actually due to the WWE looking back at AEW, and instead of bringing in Goldberg for reasons to hype the show, WWE brought in Bill Goldberg not only to hype the show, but take him off the market. Bill Goldberg was being looked at by AEW to be on weekly television in October for Tuesday nights on TNT because he was the only one out there with major TV presence. Jim Ross, actually he had Tony Schiavone on. They both, Ross and Schiavone, discussed that AEW has something in the pipeline of a major name being discussed for national television on their debut night. And this man had major TV presence. I don't know who you could be talking about. It can't be any of the Hall of Famers that WWE has, I'm sure, locked into deals, legend deals. It's not going to be CM Punk. CM Punk ain't coming back to pro wrestling. You'll know when Punk comes back, when he comes back. It's not Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose will be on AEW television before October. So who could it be? Who could it be? The only logical name was a man that met with Tony Khan when AEW was first announced. That is Bill Goldberg. Those in WWE, says Meltzer, approached Goldberg featuring him on the Saudi show, figuring he was the only guy left that could go to AEW and perhaps bring back old fans. Similar to how Vince McMahon, without the benefit of hindsight, left the door open for Hulk Hogan to WCW, Roddy Piper, and Randy Savage in the 90s. So, WWE not being afraid or thinking of AEW. For all these fucking idiots out there, well, AEW was nothing but a t-shirt company. Right? And some t-shirt company, if they have the effect over WWE in which they have right now, for WWE to go out there and get Goldberg, who retired twice, to come back, God knows how much money they're fucking paying this guy, to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, and who knows, maybe be featured on television, because nothing spells ratings than a 51-year-old Bill Goldberg. Goldberg had been rumored to be a name linked with AEW ever since Tony Khan, the president of All Elite Wrestling, claimed he wanted him on board. It seems this move was made to ensure Goldberg didn't jump ship to the rival promotion and quell the rumors of his departure. This comes after WWE denied the releases of several of their big stars, including The Revival, Luke Harper, and Sasha Banks, for the fear of all of them joining AEW. But I kick it right back to WWE. If The Revival mean nothing to you, if Luke Harper, which we will talk about this weekend, Vince McMahon had no plans on using Luke Harper. None. None whatsoever. If you don't find value in The Revival, and the biggest value you get out of The Revival is Scott Dawson shaving, or Dash Wilder rather, shaving Scott Dawson's back. If you don't have any value in Luke Harper, that you want to keep him off TV, the caliber of athlete that Luke Harper could be, how you could push him on television and find something for him to do. Sasha Banks, if you don't want to push these individuals the way that they should be pushed and find no value in them for fear that they will join AEW, then let them go. Let them go. Let them go be free somewhere else. WWE will not do that. Jim Ross also stated recently that an undercard talent that is barely featured on TV was offered a new contract of $500,000 per year, which they accepted. I don't know who this is, but apparently they accepted it just so WWE could stop them from joining AEW. Man, that t-shirt company is really fucking influential down there in Jacksonville, Florida. Holy shit. Some t-shirt company got down there, boys. Unreal. Conversely, that same contract was offered to The Revival. However, they actually turned down the offer and are instead waiting for their contracts to expire. AEW really does seem to have WWE worried. The AEW effect, folks, is in full effect. And this is just the latest story to indicate this. The wrestling landscape is sure to change. It's about to change. It will surely change. And with AEW's first show in Double or Nothing taking place in just a couple of weeks, we are very well on the verge of another wrestling war. Whether they want to admit it, whether WWE wants to admit it, the fans are going to make it out to be some type of war, but the best thing for AEW to do is to continue doing everything that they're doing now. Make no mention of WWE outside that beautiful promo by Cody Rhodes, which gotta give him a standing ovation on, man. That one he cut on Dustin, calling Triple H a pissant bodybuilder, and how he wants to kill the Attitude Era, man. Holy shit, man. You look into the man's eyes and you believe every fucking word that he said, man. That might have been one of the best promos of the entire year. Cody, listen, bro. Gotta give it to you, man. You did a great job with that. WWE and AEW is not going to be competition per se, but we, the community, are going to make it competition. It is in their best interest, AEW, to not compete with WWE, but WWE is the one who's making AEW seem like the bigger deal to everybody else because every single move that they make has direct implications stemming from AEW. This is just one of them. This is the cherry on top of the cake. Bill Goldberg? Really? Who the fuck is excited about Bill Goldberg wrestling in Saudi Arabia? I'm not. Look at what WWE has done in the last 2 weeks alone. Luke Harper, denied release, added months on top of his contract. The Revival turned down 5 years at $550,000 per year on the basis of, well, we'll think about it. We want to see how good the year goes and how you treat us before we sign the dotted line, which is a move that a fucking moron would be able to make. WWE had their contracts turned down by the Revival, and then they proceeded to bury them on Monday Night Raw. So that's just a couple. Sasha Banks walking out. Sasha Banks could walk into AEW and be Ronda Rousey in AEW. That's how important she would be to AEW. Hideo Itami, Ty Dillinger, they got their releases. They didn't really feel the effect or the demonic presence of WWE. WWE is even looking at Joey Ryan. They want to take him off the indies because of fear he's going to go to AEW. Joey fucking Ryan with the magic penis they want in WWE. I don't get it. Every single thing that they do is because of AEW. Why you think you're getting AJ Styles and Seth Rollins a week before Double or Nothing? You think that's just out of fucking thin air? No, of course not. WWE's putting that match on to directly compete, or not directly, but indirectly, show up Double or Nothing. Oh, you want to book Omega and Jericho. Oh, you want to give the Bucks and the Lucha Bros. All right, we're going to give you Rollins and AJ Styles at Money in the Bank for the Universal Championship. And then AJ's teasing the fucking reformation of the Bullet Club with Gallows and Anderson. Now, after 3 fucking years, now, when their contracts are set to expire and they don't want nothing to do with WWE at all? Because you know they're going right down to Jacksonville to be with the Bucks again. Everything that they do is AEW. Meanwhile, AEW is going about their business. They're walking gingerly in the park, hand in hand with their girlfriend. Hi, honey, you want to sit down in Central Park on a nice picnic? Yeah, I brought some wine spritzers. I brought some fucking cheese. I brought this nice little made sandwich that I made at home. They're going about their business. Yeah, WWE is like this fucking jaded lover sitting in the fucking corner with the binoculars looking at every fucking thing you're doing. They're in the tree like a fucking owl looking. Oh no, look at this. They can't be doing that. Done, we gotta do something about this. Oh my God, they're like a sniper on a rooftop. Meanwhile, AEW's doing their thing. WWE's the sniper on the rooftop, and they can't do anything right. Their aim's all fucked up. They're aiming at the target. Meanwhile, their target's over there. They got a bunch of different things they're looking at. Meanwhile, AEW's just going about their way. It's ridiculous. Yet I get criticized for saying, oh, AEW, hype AEW too much. I'm not doing anything. WWE is the one hyping AEW by every fucking move they make. They're playing a game of chess and losing. Every move they make is a fucking failure. Every move they make exposes themselves in the AEW effect. This is just the cherry on top of the cake. Goldberg? Who's Goldberg gonna wrestle at Saudi Arabia? Who? Could be Roman Reigns. We mentioned this yesterday when we did the Dean Ambrose video, off the script extra, talking about Jon Moxley. Goldberg was announced on Wednesday morning for being in Jeddah. Who's he gonna wrestle? Is WWE going to put Goldberg versus Roman Reigns? Spear versus Spear? Who's got the best spear? Give me a fucking break. I'm not buying into that. I could see that. I mentioned with Brock Lesnar losing the Universal Championship, there's no rematch clauses in WWE anymore. Is Brock Lesnar going to fight for the Universal Championship again? Or is WWE going to book Goldberg and Brock Lesnar again in a match that barely will last 3 minutes? What more can these two do outside of the last time they met in a ring at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship? Bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. I could see Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. I could see Goldberg versus Lars Sullivan. I could see Goldberg versus The Undertaker, meaning that they have a dream match there that people would be interested in, which would probably suck on top of suck. But Goldberg and The Undertaker did have a nice little run-in a couple years back at the Royal Rumble when Lesnar and Goldberg were feuding over the Universal Championship. But out of all that, I am not interested in any of that. In fact, out of all those people, I would put Goldberg against Drew McIntyre. What better way to build up Drew McIntyre than having him claymore Bill Goldberg? I mean, I'm not interested in this at all. I don't know what this show is going to materialize into, but all I know is that we got another pay-per-view coming in 2 weeks. 2 weeks after Jeddah. And that's WWE Stomping Ground. Really sells me on that just by the name alone. Said nobody ever. You could do a multitude of things with Bill Goldberg. You could put him in those matches that I mentioned. You know, I don't really know. You know, you could take out The Undertaker and the Roman Reigns equation. You could put The Undertaker and Roman Reigns in a tag team match against Shane McMahon and Elias. You could do Roman Reigns and The Miz versus Shane McMahon and Elias and do The Undertaker versus Goldberg. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. At the end of the day, I don't care what they do. Ratings are down, and Goldberg at 51 years old, 52 years old, however old he is, it's not the answer. It's not the answer. And how much of a threat was Goldberg going to be to WWE if he went to AEW? Who cares? He's not good. He doesn't even fit into the model of wrestling that they're trying to build. He'd be there for a short stint, 2 or 3 months tops. He's not going to be in a major program. They're not going to headline Bill Goldberg versus fucking Kenny Omega for the AEW World title. Come on. That company is going in a completely different direction. They would have used him for name value alone. Oh, look at who we got. He probably would have confronted Chris Jericho after all these fucking years. Give me a break. WWE has exposed themselves in the worst fucking way possible, and I'm glad. AEW seems completely unfazed. Double or Nothing is going to be a fucking resounding success, and WWE will continue to be petty little bitches. WWE's attitude is actually, it's becoming a cancer to the WWE locker room. Because now, their frustrations with AEW, they're taking out on their talent by adding dates and months to these performers' contracts because they can. And they want to keep them under lock and key so they don't go to AEW when they intend. They got to wait until WWE says they're ready. It's ridiculous, dude. Absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of Saudi, WWE is not in control of anything over at Saudi Arabia or in planning these shows. Dave Meltzer spoke on this on the Wrestling Observer Live about how much control WWE has over their current deal with Saudi Arabia. The answer, in short, is they have very little say in what happens or when it takes place. They're not in control, says Dave Meltzer. Saudi's shows are in complete control by them. People think that WWE is making all these decisions. They're not making any of these decisions. Saudi Arabia goes, we want you on this date, and then have the option to do whatever they want after that. Oh, no, we changed our mind. Now you got to reschedule everything completely to accommodate Saudi Arabia. This is not WWE going, oh, we can't come on May 3rd. Let's move it to June 7th. It's like, no, we X for May 3rd. We've changed our mind. We want you on June 7th. Then they have to rearrange everything because that's when Saudi asked for them to come. End quote. So what Meltzer's pretty much saying without actually saying is that WWE is Saudi's bitch. This is what WWE gets. They're jeopardizing literally everything for nothing but chaos. Their entire WWE schedule for the next 10 years is going to be fucked up by people who don't give a shit about anything that WWE had planned or has planned moving forward with their content for the rest of the year. They want you, you drop your pants, and that is it. You are at the will of the Saudi government, and that's fucked up. It really is. That right there exposes WWE in every which way that I've complained about for the fucking longest time. They don't give a shit about quality. They don't give a shit about their content. They don't give a shit about their fans. They don't give a shit about what goes on TV. The fact that they took all this money for 10 years and are allowing themselves to be pushed around by the Saudi government, by people who don't give a shit about anything that's going on right now. People who don't give a shit about anything. Remember when Crown Jewel was happening, or the Greatest Royal Rumble, they wanted fucking Yokozuna for the Greatest Royal Rumble? Yokozuna's been dead. Dead! This is the mentality of the people that WWE is listening to. It's unreal. It was also noted that Saudi Arabia could change their minds about when they want WWE to bring their show to the controversial country again. So it could be June, and then it could be again in August. You know, quick turnaround. WWE has the smarts, barely, to space these things out. One in the beginning of the year and one at the end of the year. One in the first quarter, one in the last quarter of the year. Saudi can ask for them whenever they want. Whenever they are needed, whenever they got to push whatever political agenda over there. Oh, look, WWE. Meanwhile, everything on that show is going to be a complete waste of fucking time. Meanwhile, WWE has a actual pay-per-view that correlates to what is being told on storylines on weekly TV that will get ignored and will seem like a fucking main event show on the WWE network. This is how WWE's operating. But if they're happy with operating in mediocrity, by all means, take that $500 million and run to the fucking bank. We're the ones suffering, not you. Dean Ambrose set to return to the Indies as Jon Moxley in June. Dean Ambrose released a video onto his Twitter account yesterday that confirmed the return of Jon Moxley and his character that he used on the independent scene before his WWE debut. However, some people are still adamant that this is a work, and Dean Ambrose will be returning to the WWE after a short hiatus as the reformed Jon Moxley. I can't even begin to tell you how many people, and I mentioned this on my Off the Script Extra video, people are still fantasizing about Dean Ambrose in the WWE, still. The man's contract ended on midnight Wednesday morning. And this video was released at 12 a.m. prompt on Wednesday morning. The video right now, I just looked today, right before I hit record, 2.6 million views. Motherfucker went viral on social media. 2.6 million. That was larger than both Raw and SmackDown Live in their weekly viewership for both shows on Monday and Tuesday. Jon Moxley, Jonathan Good, has not tweeted in 5 years. All of a sudden, he tweets once, with this video, with this teaser. Shit went viral. Unreal. He presented himself in a way that made everything that WWE did with him garbage. Yet people want to fantasize that he's going back to the WWE. I don't understand. These people are so fucking stupid. I mentioned this on my Off the Script Extra on Wednesday. There's a jail cell. There is barbed wire. There are guns. There are police sirens. There's blood. Yet this is a WWE production. Unless WWE is going back to fucking TV 14, I don't see how this is a WWE production. WWE didn't produce this. WWE had nothing to do with it. This is Jon Moxley. This is Jonathan Good getting himself ready for life after WWE. Why would Jonathan Good go back to WWE in the first place? Why would WWE have Jonathan Good in the WWE portraying anything but Dean Ambrose? I don't understand how these people are even breathing. They sound so fucking stupid. It's not happening. It's not happening. There was a lot of symbolism in the trailer. There was a lot of indirect jabs at WWE. But Ambrose is going to be back in a wrestling ring for someone. Now, Dave Meltzer, in the newsletter, said that former WWE champion Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, is indeed returning to the Indies in June. It's being reported that the man formerly known as Dean Ambrose has started accepting independent bookings, some of which will be announced in the very near future. It should be said that it is expected Moxley will only work with a promotion if he feels 100% control over his character's direction. Many people have speculated that Dean will end up in AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it's not being reported that he is talking to either promotion. WWE is still hoping that he will return in the future. Get it out of your heads, he's not going back to WWE. I am all AEW. I am telling you right now, this does not mean he's going to AEW either. There are definite clues and symbolism with the chalk outlines of the numbers on the wall in the very beginning seconds of the video from the dice of the Viper Room, with the dice reading 2 and 5 for 25. May 25th is Double or Nothing. There is symbolism there. There is speculation there. Whatever Dean Ambrose did, or whoever produced this, which was beautifully done, by the way, whoever was in charge of this clearly wanted to make an impression, and Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good, Jon Moxley, wanted to get people talking. He got everybody fucking talking. Mission accomplished. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to see all the people that put down AEW as a TV or a t-shirt company without a TV deal. When Dean Ambrose ends up over there, or Jonathan Moxley ends up over there, I want to see all those people who made fun, oh, AEW is a garbage promotion, nothing but a t-shirt promotion. Go over there and watch your beloved Shield member kick ass and be promoted in such a way that puts all of his 5 years in WWE to shame. If you're a fan of Jon Moxley, then you need to understand why this is a good business move, why this is a good career move for him. You want your guy to be looked at as a third wheel? I don't. There was no way that man was going to be anywhere near Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns in the eyes of WWE. This is the only way he could do that. His stock has instantly risen. His stock instantly rose. And he hasn't even had a match yet outside WWE. Got people talking. That's all that mattered. Can't wait to see what he does. And I hope, come May, we will be seeing him in Double or Nothing at AEW's first event. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan received time off from WWE, and now we have the reason as to why. Daniel Bryan is no longer the WWE champion. Clearly, I'm assuming that he will be vying for that title sooner than later. Then Daniel Bryan lost the title to Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania and went away without a fucking word on his whereabouts. The Wrestling Observer newsletter had some good news to report in the Daniel Bryan situation. Although it is still unknown what type of injury he was dealing with, Bryan is cleared to return, and he was backstage at SmackDown in Columbus, but he wasn't used. Therefore, it could be a big surprise to see him written back into the storyline as early as next week. Brad Shepard went on to explain why Daniel Bryan was given time off and when we should expect him to make a return. He says this, and I quote, "In an update on Daniel Bryan, a source in the WWE told me that he was cleared this morning after neck and back problems, which is why he had time off, and he should be back in a week or two." Now, it was also noted in a very interesting tidbit that had Bryan been cleared a week sooner, Kevin Owens would not have turned heel. This means that Bryan's injury forced WWE to turn Owens heel, which would indicate that once Bryan is back, then there will be only room for one top heel on the blue brand. WWE's ratings are slumping in a big way. They could use Daniel Bryan back as soon as possible, so you never know when they could call upon him to come back. After all, WWE had Tommaso Ciampa on the main roster wrestling, knowing that he needed neck surgery after NXT TakeOver New York. I don't know how I feel about this, man, because a lot of what we feared, was felt all through the community. And Daniel Bryan, when he gets injured, we always, 100% of the time, always go, oh, it's a concussion. Oh, this guy's doomed. The guy's never going to wrestle again. I don't understand why, when it comes to Daniel Bryan, how WWE is so secretive of everything. Why are they so secretive with Daniel Bryan? It's not the case like that with anybody else. Triple H, as soon as he got hurt at Crown Jewel, tore his pec. We knew what was wrong, why he was going to be out, what happened during the match. It was instantly reported on. And WWE even notified us on live TV. Look, he tore his pec. Tommaso Ciampa, the biggest heel in the fucking company before he went out. Guy was a stone cold fucking not breaking the character by any means. WWE had cameras follow him around at the fucking performance center all the way to fucking the medical center down in Alabama with his surgeons being interviewed. Having him open up his character, kissing his kid, kissing his wife. We knew why he was there, and we got an in-depth, close look at what was going on with Tommaso Ciampa and his neck. But Daniel Bryan, everybody that gets hurt seems to have something thrown out there in the public. Oh, he's hurt. Oh, she's hurt. Oh, he's going to be out for this long. Oh, she's going to be out for that long. This is the nature of the injury, so on and so forth. But with Daniel Bryan, who WWE, had sit out for 4 years. Whatever the reason was, he was out for 4 years. I got my own conspiracy on that. I stick to that to this very day. I do not, still to this day, think Daniel Bryan was as injured as WWE let on. I honestly believe that man was held out on purpose, and he was not injured like they said he was. Then WWE has him come back. First of all, when he went away, tears were shed. He comes back in one of the most heartfelt moments that you could possibly ever find on WWE television. The man's fucking gleaming with happiness. Tears are fucking being shared throughout the fucking wrestling world with this guy. He's praising and telling us how much he loves his wife. Without his wife, he wouldn't even be here, doing this. And he was going to give up. His wife kept telling him, you got to believe in your dreams and all this other hokey-pokey bullshit. And we shared a moment with this man. And if it was up to Bryan would have walked out of WWE and went to go wrestle somewhere else just because he wanted to fucking wrestle. The man wanted to wrestle. He didn't give a fuck who he wrestled for. He just wanted to wrestle. And WWE was not going to allow that to happen because A, AEW, B, Bryan is a game changer, C, Bryan going somewhere else was going to be away from WWE's watch, and they would not be able to monitor what he does with his concussions, with his neck, with his history of injuries. They wanted him under their watch, under their doctors, so if something goes wrong, they know. But WWE, when something like this happens with someone that we genuinely care about, we need to be filled in on what the fuck is going on. Everybody else has a diagnosis and it's out there on WWE.com or it's out there on the internet, it's out there in the dirt sheets. But with Daniel Bryan, everything is so close to the fucking vest. Why? I don't understand it. We welcome these people into our home. I genuinely care about this individual. I want to know what the fuck is going on. Everybody else gets a diagnosis and a fucking reason why they're out. Bryan, the way that they're covering up makes it seem like something else is going on and something else is fishy. Like it wasn't really his neck or his back. What was it? If it's not that serious, why didn't you fucking tell us? Then we gotta hear the rumors of, there was another party that didn't want it to be revealed. Why? Was it something that you didn't want out there in the general public because people would have a fucking shitstorm over it, or it would cause WWE to have the stocks plummet? It's fucked up. It's like Daniel Bryan's being hidden because of whatever reason. WWE releases it, then it could have a huge effect on everything else. But this is someone that we're investing our time in and we care about. I don't like that they keep everything a secret with him. What happens? He's going to get hurt. He's a pro wrestler. I honestly don't think that Bryan, with the way that they're caring about his neck now, if WWE didn't want him to wrestle, they wouldn't put him in the ring. This is why I said all those years ago, fucking bullshit as to why this guy sat out. WWE took him off of television because they knew with Bryan on television, Roman would never stand the fucking chance as to be the number one guy. So they took a chance in taking him off television. And what happened? Nothing in WWE's favor worked out the way they wanted. But when something like this happens, we need to be filled in on what is going on. Enough of this secretive bullshit. If it's something, it's got to be known. You can't do it with everybody else and then keep this guy away from everybody. Oh, well, it's serious, and then one week it's not serious, and then this week all of a sudden, he's cleared. He'll be back. Something ain't right about that. Either way, I'm glad WWE has Bryan coming back. The guy has been fucking gold. And that title is coming off. This is just another instance in which that title is coming off Kofi sooner rather than later. Can't wait to see him back on television. I'm glad he's okay, but Jesus Christ, a little bit more clarity on what the fuck is going on with these guys. Vince McMahon is offering undercard talent a huge amount of money to stay with the WWE. You don't say. I wonder why. AEW is opening their doors very soon. Come on in. Come on in. If anything, WWE is certainly seeing the signs in their own locker room. Some talent have already told WWE they wanted to quit, like the Revival, Sasha Banks, and Luke Harper. WWE told them they weren't allowed out of their independent contractor deals, so they are staying. Other superstars were offered huge money in order to stay as well. Jim Ross recently appeared on Busted Open Radio, where he revealed a staggering amount of money that Vince McMahon is offering undercard guys to stay with the WWE. He says, and I quote, I asked about an undercard guy in WWE that helps the other guys learn, and they said he was not available because he just signed a new deal for $500,000. Not because he would be used, but just to keep him off the streets, end quote. Man, that's a lot of fucking money for a napkin folder in fucking Titus Catering. He didn't specify who he was talking about, but we obviously could come up with a few logical guesses. An undercard guy isn't even high enough on the card where Vince McMahon should care, but he still doesn't want people leaving. This is a very interesting situation and could get even more cutthroat as we get closer to Double or Nothing or AEW announcing their TV deal, which could be this month. Man, WWE is getting desperate, and hey, I would love to know who this guy is. He took the money, and he doesn't give a shit about being used, man. That's not me, and that's not a lot of people in WWE. Couldn't help with Dean Ambrose. It couldn't help with the Revival. It's not going to help with Sasha Banks. It's not going to help with everybody else that has contracts coming up. It's not going to help with the club. It's not going to help. People know that there is another option out there that is going to equal or better WWE's contracts. Money is not the issue. I wish you would have gotten this through your fucking heads with Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose was given every fucking thing possible to stay. He walked out. He walked out. Why is that? Because she didn't want to give him the creativity to blossom as a performer. Now, one of the main priorities for Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley is he wants 100% of character control over what he's doing and where he's working and who he's working with. And you know what? People are actually going to give him that because of the reasons that WWE does not. They want to be in control. Meanwhile, these other companies are just happy to have this fucking top-tier talent working for them, and they're going to work with the creativity aspect of these guys. That is where they want to thrive. I don't know who in any field, in any type of line of work, wants to sit around making all this money and be unhappy, especially if you're a pro wrestler. You're seeing everybody else main event this and win championships here and have these great matches there. Meanwhile, you're okay with sitting in the back, stuffing your face with fucking pie in catering, getting paid $500,000 a year. You're okay with being embarrassed on weekly television just because it's entertainment, yet I'm making $500,000 a year. My family is well endowed. My family's better off for it in the end. And I'm not really breaking my body, so who gives a shit? Then you shouldn't be in the business to begin with. You're a fucking, you're a fake. You're a fake. I don't want nothing to do with you if you're not willing to work for me. If that's the type of mentality you have, I don't want you in my company. That's a shame. I don't know who is complacent in that way. It's a damn shame to know that there are talent out there that exists like this. Like you don't have enough confidence in yourself to want to be more. You don't want to go somewhere else and prove these fucking people who don't find any value in you wrong. You don't want to go out there and be a part of history in the making. You'd rather just sit behind the scenes and make all this money for WWE to control you, to keep you off the street so you don't go to AEW and possibly give them a boost where they might need a boost. That's a damn shame, man. That's a shitty mentality to have. I would never want anyone on my payroll that thinks that way. And I don't know what's worse, the fact that guy is okay taking it, or WWE thinking that they could control everybody with fucking money. With fucking money. Money is not the answer. It's what's here. Money is going to come to you no matter what. It's all about creativity. Nobody in WWE is allowed to be creative. Creative itself, the shit that they're given, is not making anyone happy. This is why people want to leave. $500,000 to stay in the WWE and do nothing? Just to be kept off the streets? Not really what I want. I don't want that at all on my roster. I would love to know who that guy is, but everybody thought it was the Revival. Everybody thought it was the Revival. Then news leaked that WWE did offer the Revival all this types of money and 5 years to stay, and they rejected it. So I would be interested to know who this guy is. For some reason, Tyler Breeze is coming to my head. I don't know if that's correct or not, but $500,000 is a lot of money to do absolutely nothing. And again, I would not want to be that individual at all or employ that type of individual. Go check out all the other videos that you might have missed, man. SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw, Off the Script, Extra, where we break down the trailer of Jon Moxley escaping from the WWE. Also, NXT, why Kushida will not be successful in the WWE despite a successful NXT debut against Cassius Ohno. Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles implies he has a certain club that has his back at Money in the Bank. And SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live, obviously, the ratings sank on both Raw and SmackDown. Roman Reigns and the B Team are just one of the many reasons why. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out. Link will be in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen. Drop it down. Everything you need will be right there. And thank you guys so very much for all your support right here on Off the Script. What the WWE did to the Revival on Monday night was downright embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And when you hear stories of both Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder wanting to leave the WWE, it's not difficult to figure out why. Now, the original story that was reported last week had the Revival being offered 5-year contracts, both of them, at $550,000 per year to stay. Common logic would apply here. And both Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder have common logic. They know for a fact that ever since they got called up from NXT, that their main roster run has been absolutely pathetic. WWE didn't do anything with them. They complained that they wanted to be treated like a legit fucking tag team. They wanted the tag team division to be better. And WWE did not listen to them at all. So they threatened to quit. They threatened to quit. In turn, they threatened to quit, and WWE, out of pity, gave them the Monday Night Raw tag team titles. Even then, it felt like everything that the Revival were going through was getting worse, even with the tag team titles. So I look at it this way. WWE didn't want the Revival to leave. They gave them the tag team titles. How much do you think the WWE looks at those tag team titles on Monday Night Raw and finds any value whatsoever? If you could lobby a deal to keep the Revival happy on Monday Night Raw by giving them the tag team titles, wouldn't the first thing be to treat them and the titles like a big fucking deal because they are a legit tag team? That's the way I see it. Instead, WWE finds no value in the Revival. They simply want to keep them off the streets. They gave them the titles. WWE still embarrassed both Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder with the tag team championships. So in turn, what does WWE think of the Revival and the tag team titles? Nothing more than a fucking joke. So WWE had the Revival lose the tag team titles in one of the worst fucking ways possible, in a match that was conceived 6 days before WrestleMania against two guys who are Titus's favorite players in catering. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder lost to someone who lost 260 matches in a row. And Zack Ryder. This is making the division better? I don't understand that logic. So, they're on Monday Night Raw. They were given the titles out of pity because they asked to quit. Then they were given the titles, dropped the titles at WrestleMania, and then WWE wants to proceed to give them 5-year deals at $550,000 a year. And rightfully so. Both the Revival said no. It's common logic. You told us that the division was going to be better. Here we are, titleless and still embarrassed. Now you want us to sign on the dotted line? No. You got to show us that the division's going to get better, we're going to get treated better, and the titles are going to mean something on this fucking show. Give us the ball and have us run with it. They said no. So now WWE got the answer of no. Now they're going to proceed to bury them, humiliate them, and embarrass them like they did on Monday night with the shaving incident. Again, I ask you, if the WWE was so keen on keeping the Revival in WWE on Raw in the tag team division to make your division better than what it is now, and use them correctly, wouldn't the first thing you do after being told no is to go out there and maybe give them a reason to fucking stay? Give them 20 minutes with the Usos and have them go out there and steal Monday Night Raw. Have everybody appreciate what the tag team division could be. Treat these guys like legit fucking performers that you value. How is this going to get them to stay with WWE? And on top of that, that's not even the worst part. That's not even the worst part. I'm assuming it's coming for Scott Dawson as well because he was out. WWE took Dash Wilder's contract and added 4 months on top of his contract because he was out with a broken jaw. Again, I ask, do you value these guys? Are you going to make the division better? Or are you acting out of anger to embarrass them because they said no to your precious money? I don't believe the inner workings of this company. I really don't. Now the Revival, no question, are not signing your contracts. They're going to wait it out. And at this point, if I was with them face to face, I'd be like, boys, sit it out. There's nothing you can do. WWE is not letting you out. Look at what they did to Luke Harper. Look at what they're doing to Sasha Banks. Look at what they're doing to the Sanity guys. Everybody that's going to ask for their release. They made an example out of Luke Harper. They're making an example stemming from 3 months ago with the Revival by adding time on top of their contract. Sit it out, wait it out, there's nothing you can do. WWE is making themselves look ridiculous. You will have your time. You will have your time where you leave the company and you're gone. You don't have to look back. You will have your time when you're in the ring with Pentagon and Phoenix and LAX and all these other fucking teams that are out there waiting to fucking get in the ring with you guys. Believe me. Believe me. I see it now when the Revival are gone and they sign with All Elite Wrestling. They will be bigger than they ever have been in WWE. They're going to be treated with fucking respect. The appeal that they bring to tag team wrestling, they are tag team wrestling. They're going to a company that is run by 2 guys who live and breathe tag team wrestling. They're going to a company that has this old school mentality, and tag team wrestling is a part of that old school mentality. They're going to a place where they can kick back, put their feet up and say, guys, tag team wrestling is back. We are here to be a part of this glorious fucking adventure. Believe me. WWE is embarrassing themselves every which way. Because the Revival turned down 5-year deals and said no. You're treating them like fucking garbage. You've been treating them like garbage for the last 2 years. Why on earth would anyone sign a contract knowing how you treated them? So WWE proceeded to do the shaving of the back gimmick on Scott Dawson with Dash Wilder. And then Scott Dawson comes out, yeah, I'm a man. Men have hair. I have more hair than most men, or whatever the fuck he said. That wasn't even the start of the humiliation. The Usos came out, jumping around like fucking circus acts, singing their own theme music. When was this an initiative? Why wasn't this done on SmackDown Live? But when they come to Monday Night Raw, the old man wants to get funny. So we got the Usos singing their own theme song. We got the Usos spying on the Revival in the shower while the Revival are shaving each other's backs. God knows what else. Is someone in the company going to stand up to fucking Vince McMahon and this damaging mentality and be like, hey, old man, you fucking idiot. You got the Usos who didn't need any change whatsoever or tweaks to their act. They're over already. They're tough. People know that they're all business. Go out there. Take care of it in the ring. When they speak on the microphone, people listen. They're all about intimidating promos and carrying that over into the ring. You got the Revival who are at the best in their fucking craft. And this is what we're getting as far as tag team action goes. Two of the best teams on the fucking planet. And they're building a program of childish high school antics, shaving of the back, in the shower, and then the Usos come out and sing their own theme music. I don't even want to continue this show. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. If anyone is in the Revival shoes, you would have made the same fucking decision. WWE meant to humiliate the Revival on Raw. Fightful reported back in January that Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder expressed discontent about their position in WWE, asked for their releases. They were told that the company asked them to ride out things and see where they stood in the weeks that followed. Same thing that they told Sasha Banks. What do you think WWE is going to do? There are reports, we'll talk about it tomorrow. There are reports that WWE is planning on replacing Dana Brooke with Sasha Banks. So what, if Sasha Banks is in the Money in the Bank, you're going to give her the Money in the Bank? Yeah, honey, sit at home. Rest it out a couple of weeks. Come back refreshed. We'll figure things out then. What is WWE going to do? They're going to paint this illusion. They're going to paint this mirage like a fucking Bob Ross painting, right? It's all beautiful. But that's all it is. It looks beautiful. But in this case, the painting may be beautiful. WWE's words may be beautiful. But on the inside, there's nothing but a heart of darkness. Sasha Banks will win Money in the Bank. And then she'll fail a fucking cash-in and be the first woman to fail a cash-in. Solidifying her as a fucking loser, as always. Because that's what she is in WWE's eyes. A loser. Ride it out. See where things are in the weeks that follow. Tag team title reign followed. A WrestleMania appearance followed. Where are they now? Again, you got the Revival in fucking shower skits with the Usos. And Scott Dawson is having his back shaved by his own tag team partner. Luke Harper, Ty Dillinger, Maria and Mike Kanellis, Sasha Banks, Dean Ambrose, Hideo Itami. Numerous others have expressed frustration and have asked for their releases. Some of them have been granted. Now WWE is getting pissed and they're not granting anybody a release. And if you've had a existing injury, they're adding that time on top of your contract because now they're sweating. Day by day, when the hours dwindle down to double or nothing, WWE is getting worried. Right before those TV meetings where all the advertisers are going to want to put all their money on certain programmings in the fall, Tuesday Night Dynamite is worrying WWE. It's worth noting that the situation could always change, but as of Monday afternoon, it didn't look like the Revival had any plans to accept this deal. The team was set for a meeting with the company on Monday afternoon. WWE has a lot more superstars who want out of the company than you would think. Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson might be former Raw Tag Team Champions as the Revival, but that won't stop them from getting back at them over recent reports that have come out about how unhappy they are with the company. Brian Alvarez remarked all of this on social media and on Wrestling Observer Radio, how WWE's theme of Raw was to humiliate the Revival. After all, they have yet to sign a new contract. Dave Meltzer replied and agreed with Brian Alvarez on this, and he says, and I quote, humiliate them? Yeah, I guess that was the theme of the show. Shaving of the back, coming out doing that promo, saying, I'm a man, I'm Harry, and then losing to the tag team champions in 3 minutes. WWE should be fucking ashamed of themselves. I swear to God. I swear to God. WWE is run by the biggest bunch of fucking idiots I have ever seen. And I want to see some fucking cretin who has a podcast talking about WWE agree with what they seen on Monday night. Agree with how the Revival are being treated. I want to see. Oh, they're boring. Oh, they got no charisma. Oh, they're fucking garbage. Oh, they couldn't get a fucking peep out of a fucking funeral. That's not the point. It's not the point. WWE has ruined these guys for the last 2 years. Now, all of a sudden, when you start seeing them regularly on TV, you expect some sort of fucking reaction? Every action that WWE did in the past is coming back to fucking haunt them. Why aren't the Revival over, you say? Look at Monday night. I don't even need to say anything. Every fucking stroke of that razor across Scott Dawson's back is every fucking hair of reason why this company is fucking down in the fucking toilet and why the Revival should be finding a new home in Jacksonville, Florida. Fuck that. WWE added 5 years to Scott Dawson's Dash Wilder, soon to be Scott Dawson, I'm sure, because they were both out. Dash Wilder's contract added time because they turned down the 5-year deal. Bodyslam.net reports that WWE added 2 months onto Dash Wilder's contract. This was due to the 2 months he had to be out, sidelined, while his face was in a fucking cage with a broken jaw. He broke his jaw in 2017 in a match against Shinsuke Nakamura and Hideo Itami at an NXT house show. Nakamura and the Revival were on a farewell tour with NXT at the time because they had just been called up to the main roster with a ton of momentum. Man, the glory days. The glory fucking days. The injury for Wilder caused him to be pulled from action while his jaw healed, but now it is being added back onto his stretch of time with the WWE. At this time, Wilder's bid at Vince McMahon's Big House is up in 2020. Both Dash and Dawson were previously set to have their contracts expire in 2020. There's no word on whether Scott Dawson will also have time tacked on to his contract due to WWE having him miss time with a said injury. I believe it was it might have been his elbow or something along those lines. So right now, the contracts of both the members of the Revival are different. They're not at the same time. So right now, Scott Dawson will be gone before Dash Wilder, but believe me, in the weeks to come, you'll see Scott Dawson with an added time to his contract as well. Which, again, I don't understand. If these guys are so unhappy, you know, it's not that difficult for WWE to send Tyler Breeze back down to NXT. Ty Dillinger asked to be back down to NXT. They gave him a swift no. It's reported that Tyler Breeze is back down in NXT. He's probably going to be competing for the North American Championship against the Velveteen Dream at the next TakeOver show. So why is it so difficult to put the Revival back down in NXT and have them deliver classics like the Undisputed Era and the Street Profits? I don't get it. It would have been great to see the Revival go back down to NXT and take the titles off the fucking War Raiders. Instead of making these guys look like a joke, keep them fucking happy and give them what they want. WWE's not doing that with them because of all the fucking frustration that the Revival are giving WWE. That would be what they want. So WWE, instead of making them happy for the duration of their fucking contract, they're going to make their life miserable. That's the only reason why they didn't get sent back down to NXT. Tyler Breeze has been kept quiet. He said nothing. So when he lobbied to go back down to NXT, somebody obviously listened to him. He's liked enough in the company. We'll grant you your NXT wish. There you go. If the Revival kept their mouth shut, maybe they could have been in line to go back down to NXT too. This is a fucked up situation, man. A really, 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 really fucked up situation. WWE had plans for Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe. What happened? Previously reported, Samoa Joe was scheduled to make his Monday Night Raw debut with the United States Championship. A week before that, WWE had Braun Strowman interrupt Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe did not make the debut episode of Monday Night Raw, the shake-up night, because he was out with the flu. So that was canceled. EC3 got buried by Braun Strowman instead, if you guys remember that. So we all thought and assumed that Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe, once Joe was healthy, that we would resume whatever we seen happen on SmackDown Live on Monday Night Raw for the United States Championship. So, Braun Strowman apparently has messed up another push for himself, which I'll get to in a bit. This is stemming from his WrestleMania performance. I don't know what was wrong with his WrestleMania performance. He was in the ring with fucking two D-list comedians on Saturday Night Live. What else could Braun Strowman do to make those two guys look good? So it was noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE has moved on from Joe and Braun Strowman already. Strowman versus Joe seems to already be forgotten, and they're going back to Joe versus Mysterio after Joe beat him in a minute at WrestleMania. Looks like Strowman might have to wait a little bit longer to get a title match that seemingly keeps evading him. He's currently in the Money in the Bank ladder match on May 19th, but apparently he lost a chance to battle Samoa Joe. I would have loved to see somebody else in that spot, to be honest with you. I tried to make sense of it like I usually do. You know, it's like a returning champion. You know, Braun Strowman realistically shouldn't be there. It should be someone like a fucking EC3 or someone, right? Someone. Cedric Alexander, Cesaro. No, we got Braun Strowman in the Money in the Bank. Meanwhile, he's fucking shit up for himself. More than likely, he's not going to win 2 years in a row. That would be terrible. And Braun Strowman, I tried to make sense of it on Monday night. It's like a returning champion coming back in the next season, the following season. It's like he won last year, so he's back to defend his Money in the Bank ladder match, I guess. I don't fucking know. Whatever the case is, Strowman should not be there. I much rather would have seen him in a match with Samoa Joe because I think that their dynamic could be really fun. So apparently, Braun Strowman fucked shit up for himself. And his WrestleMania performance was a reason for that. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Strowman forgot some spots during his WrestleMania moment in the Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which created another situation for him where he is being kept back once again. Apparently, the end was a mess as Braun Strowman forgot his spots, which is one of the reasons why Strowman hasn't done much since winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, I'm not really sitting here lobbying to see Braun Strowman more than I have on WWE TV. Braun Strowman is nothing more than a lumbering, fumbling, fucking fee-fi-fo comedy act on Monday Night Raw. He's a fucking giant with no direction. He's a novelty act. He's big, he's tall, he's strong, he's fast, and he can't wrestle. The fuck do I want to see him on Monday Night Raw? Soon as this decline of Braun Strowman happened, I'm not going to build a fucking show around this guy. This guy has zero ability to be a world champion. Zero. Not really what we want to see on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw being led by someone who's a fucking giant who can't wrestle. There's a reason why every match he's in is a gimmick match. There's a reason why every match he's in is a fucking tag team match, because he can't do anything. It's not his fault. WWE sees him as one thing, and I guess it is his fault. Some of it, at least. You refuse to get better. You refuse to get better. Instead of being the fucking typical generic giant that we usually see, why don't you break out of the giant fucking mold and be something more than a giant? Which he's not. And he's not going to be. But WWE is really, really fucking ridiculous. A battle royal, which by now, people have ultimately forgotten. I don't even remember those other guys' names. I do, but I won't be mentioning them here. They're fucking irrelevant. They're irrelevant. A battle royal that was on the pre-show that nobody remembered, nobody cared about in the first place. You're going to nail the guy on forgotten spots with two D-list movie guys, comedians on a fucking TV show? Are you out of your fucking mind? I didn't really give a shit about what he did in there. I knew he was going to win anyway. You built the whole fucking thing around him while burying most of your roster. But if that is the reason why you're keeping Braun Strowman away from Samoa Joe, you're fucking the fans over. You're fucking the fans over. So what does Braun Strowman do after Money in the Bank? What does he do after losing his shot at the briefcase? Where's he going? Where's he going? Is he going to be destroying some more vehicles on Monday Night Raw? Is he going to be picking a fight with the fucking women on The View? What is he doing? Is he going to pick a fight with fucking Michael Strahan or Michael and Kelly? What's the next TV talk show host that he's going to intimidate and bring to Monday Night Raw and bully around? Who? Who's it going to be? Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe could have been something for both guys to do. It would have been fun. It would have been different. I would have loved to see either one of those guys back in the day beat Brock Lesnar for the title. Great Balls of Fire and No Mercy. Opportunities that WWE pissed off. Now, it would have been fun to see them both battle each other. It would have been a nice way for Braun Strowman to win his first United States Championship. Maybe Joe moves on up to the Universal Championship as he is a legit heel on Monday Night Raw, something in which they don't have to battle Seth Rollins or AJ Styles, whoever walks out the Universal Champion. WWE, fresh, new, exciting. The new era is all on you guys. You are the people who are going to book the show. You're in charge. Nobody's in charge. WWE's clearly in charge if they're nailing fucking Braun Strowman on blown spots in a worthless battle royal that meant nothing the day after it happened. As soon as it was over, forgot. Completely ridiculous. Not that I give a shit about Braun Strowman. I was genuinely interested in seeing something different for Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, and it could have been a fun little car wreck to have at Money in the Bank. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support. We got more on part 2. I got news on Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic might be wrestling. Rey Mysterio's son might be wrestling in the WWE. The Superstar Shakeup could have a different look next year, and you're not going to believe how Vince McMahon found out about changing up a shakeup for next year possibly. Also, the Club, Gallows and Anderson. We talked about the Revival today. We're going to talk about the Club tomorrow. WWE, when they decided to send Anderson and Gallows to Raw in the Superstar Shakeup. I also have news on why Brock Lesnar retired from the UFC. Lesnar reportedly going to be back sooner rather than later. Vince McMahon hated a new angle pitch for EC3. And Luke Harper, what was the final straw that broke the proverbial camel's back for him asking for his release from WWE. All this plus so much more right here on Off the Script on Saturday morning. Thank you guys so very much. Please hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up and turn on that bell for all notifications. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button like I said. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to support me, the Patreon page. JD's Elite. Bonfire.com is the home. Link is down in the description. Like it is every video, go and get your t-shirts today. The #1 selling t-shirt, not only for this podcast, but in the YWC. Become one of my elite members. Link is down below in the description of this very video. Harrys.com/scripts. Audibletrial.com/offthescript for your 30 days free of Audible and 1 free audiobook. And check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and OTS Extra talking about Dean Ambrose being killed off for Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley making his return to the independent wrestling scene. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. Again, hit that thumbs up, and I will see you right back here for more Off the Script on Saturday afternoon. Until then, guys, have a great Friday, and I will see you all right back here on Saturday. I'll talk to you then.